The believer, it is farz. This is not even tasawwuf, it is farz. It is farz when you see something wrong, to correct it. The believer is not someone who sees something wrong and he just leaves it alone, he shrugs his shoulders, or he joins in, or he says, I love everyone. That is a believer. It's completely different. He has to say, this is wrong, and he has to fight it. He has to stand up. This is why Shaban says so many times, Islam is not ruling, because there's no amr bil ma'ruf, nahy anil munkar. There is no enjoining something that is good and forbidding something that is evil. Now we live in this zaman, we live in this time, we live in this ruling system. We live with these scholars, we live with these teachers, we live in this situation. Now we need to know what it is. And do we live in a time when goodness is everywhere and goodness is encouraged, or we live in a completely different life? You know what? You don't have to be a believer to know that question and the answer to that question. You don't need to be a Muslim to understand the answer to that question. We're living in the worst of times. So if you understand the situation, if you understand the zaman, the time that you're living in, then you're going to go according to that. And the Prophet has given us advice in every period, in every time. He has given us enough guidance 1400 years ago for the believers to live their lives until Judgment Day, how to conduct themselves. You see something wrong, you must correct it. You cannot correct with your hands, you must correct with your tongue. You cannot, you must correct in your heart. But you must do something. Now you cannot correct it with your hands, because the hands, meaning the power and the authority, only the Khalifa has that power, has that authority. You think Muslim governments have that power? No, they cannot. They cannot stop anything. So now in these times, Islam is not ruling. It's become a private religion. It's not ruling. But the Prophet ﷺ did not bring Islam as a private religion. He brought Islam that changed the whole system that has been set up there for thousands of years. With his people, not only with the mushriks living in Arabia, but also with the Persians that's ruling that part of the world for thousands of years. That is the meaning, that when he was born, ﷺ, the fire that has been there for 1,000 years, that the Parsis, the Persians, they are burning, is finished. So that civilization also. What civilization? It's not civilization. If you don't know your Lord and you don't give the rights to your Lord, you cannot give the rights to each other. You cannot. And for you to know your Lord and for you to know each other and to give the rights, you need a prophet. And you need to submit to that prophet. So the time and the condition. He came not as a private man with a belief and saying that it's okay, forget about everything. He came to bring down that system. Not only his system, the Persians, the Zoroastrians. Who else? The Romans. Who else? Whoever that is ruling there, especially around there in the Middle East, he brought it down. There are other civilizations in time. You will understand. The Egyptians, he brought them down. Those who came from Central Asia, for example, Genghis and his grandsons who came to destroy Islam, they destroyed much of the Islamic civilization. But again, what kind of civilization it is when it's not teaching you how to know your Lord and to give him his rights and to give the rights of the people? What kind of civilization is that? The West is so happy to praise, for example, Andalusia, Spain, praising Iraq, huh? The Abbasis living in Baghdad, praising golden age, golden age. For the Muslims, for the believers, You say for dunya, maybe it is a golden age, maybe. But what is the use of gaining dunya in the name of Allah if you're not giving the rights of Allah and the ummah, and by following the sunnah of the Prophet? If you don't carry that, that is not a civilization. Allah will come and smack you. If you cannot carry that, or if the people reject that. If the people reject that, as so many times the ummah, they reject the Prophet, no? Then Allah is saying, we'll take the Prophet back. But disaster happens to that. We need to know, as believers, conditions that we're living in, so that we know how to carry our faith. As Shaban said, in the Sohbah that we read yesterday, Islam began strange, and it will end strange. Carrying faith in these times is like carrying live coal into your hands. In your hands, if it burns one hand, you have to pass it to another. You cannot drop it. You do this, it's too difficult. You cannot do this with your right, you have to do it with your left, but you still cannot drop it. You cannot do this in Islam. You must find something else to do. You must find something else to do. You cannot drop it. And that's for everyone from kings to porters to people, us. So you must know the conditions. Who and where are these teachers that teach you these conditions of the time that we're living in and how to live as believers? I'll tell you where they are. Those ones who say we need new mazhab. Those ones who say we need new ijtihad. Those ones who say we reject all khilafat. Khalifa is not coming back. Now we have to make peace with what? With this system. What is this system? The system of Jababira. The system of tyranny. The system of Dajjal. We have to make peace with it. What do you mean make peace? Make peace with the enemy? Like making peace with shaitan and say we're not going to fight anymore? Go ahead, that's what they're doing. So now they're taking everything and they say this is the new Islam. So what do they call about this Islam? Reform Islam. You want to reform it. They're doing it. Don't think just because Shaban has been saying it for years or a little bit. No. Huge amounts of resources and people and money and everything is pumped to change this. He's just saying. Because they say it's still a threat. What is a threat? Islam. Islam in the hands of rightly guided leaders, they are a threat. So remove all the leaders. When you remove the rightly guided leaders, you cannot obey the Prophet. You cannot obey Allah because Allah has set that protocol. Obey Allah, obey His Prophet, and obey the rightly guided leaders. So remove that. So now we have wrongly guided leaders. So it is very difficult to reach the Prophet ﷺ and his wisdom and his mercy. How are we going to reach to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? So now Islam is not ruling. People are having private religion and they pick and choose what they want. These times, as the Prophet said, is a time of biting tyranny. People have become more and more selfish because they learn only to take care of themselves. Anything that happens, they say, is nothing to do with us. Everyone is asking for unity. Unity. There's words in Tasawwuf in Islam, unity, oneness. In order to have unity and oneness, there has to be one leader. That they don't want to mention. So you want to have unity, but everyone is a head. Complete disaster. But they say, leave it. Let it be like this. So even the Muslims reach 3 billion, 4 billion, 5 billion Muslims. They're headless. They are like a lion that they cut off the whiskers, they cut off the mane, cut off the beard, cut off everything, put on a suit and a tie, say now become a monkey like us, don't you see? Now you look very nice. So Alhamdulillah, we are not in front. If we are in front, we are under the direct, questioning responsibility. We are not. Don't try to be. So many people, no, we must try, we must try. Go ahead and try. You think you're going to change the system? The Prophet says, step back right now. The system will change you. You knowing it or not knowing it, the system is going to change you. That time you're going to sit powerless, and even if you see open kufr that is happening in the land of the saints and the land of the prophets, open kufr, you cannot say anything because you don't have a power. Because the power that you have is not coming from Allah, it is coming from the tyrants, or it's coming from your government. Because you want that power. If not, if you're asking it from Allah, now is the time, as it is in the time of Jahiliyyah, where you have to make hijrah. In the time of Jahiliyyah, you have to make hijrah. You have to escape. What is the reason for that escape? What is the reason for that hijrah? To find better job, better life for your family, better this, to practice your faith. So we have to think. We've taken bayat, we've moved here. We've made our hijrah. This is for our faith. We didn't come here to have country life, organic life. We come here to practice our faith. If this country, if this area, if this New York, there were deserts, we'd be in the desert where no one is going to bother us. But we live in a land where there are a lot of mountains. Same. One is high, one is low. But same. You are lost in that creation of Allah. You cannot claim anything. A man can claim he's something in the middle of the desert. You understand there is a Lord. The man can claim he's something in the top of a mountain where everything else is stronger than him. No, he cannot. So if you don't have guidance in how to live your life now, you will lose your faith. One word that you say, you will lose your faith. What do I mean? One word that you say to support the tyrant or tyrannical people or Dajjal, you will lose your faith. These are dangerous times. The most important thing is our faith. Is this important for Muslims? I don't think so. Muslims are saying, I have faith, I give shahadat, I say it, I fast, I go to Hajj, I do everything. What do you mean I lose my faith? I said, okay, good luck to you. Because faith is not what we do. Faith is a trust that Allah gives to us. It's an imanat. And we have to protect that. What are we doing to protect? If you think you don't have to do anything, especially in these times, then you're in big trouble. People know if they're traveling with $1 million, they have insurance, they have a car, armored car, they have security, they have this, they have that. 1 million, 1 billion, let's say, in these days. Our faith is more precious than that. What are we doing to make sure that it is protected? Our great-grandfathers, they knew. This is why we are called Ahli Sunnah. The people who are protecting the traditions of the Prophet, protecting it, because it can't just be destroyed like that. 1400 years, their main thing was to destroy the traditions of the Prophet. They don't mind mixing it. It's not to, they don't mind compromising it. The mushriks at one point, they say, we mix up your religion, it's okay. Whatever you believe same way. But you're not going to be in charge. We don't follow you 100%. Let's do mix. Let's have a compromise. 1 year we worship Allah. Next year we worship all the idols. We follow you 1 year. We don't follow you another year. I said, no, this is not how you live Islam. The Prophet says, if you give the moon on my right hand and the sun on my left, I would not abandon this religion. How many Muslims now are very excited because we're going to Mars? It's like a Jahannam in Mars. How many Muslim governments and people, they are very happy about this. So you're not looking, understanding the situation, understanding the age, and you don't know how to look with the eyes of the Prophet ﷺ, with the nur of Allah. Because you let go of all the ropes. You let go of all the ropes of Allah. And you say, I am the rope. So, dangerous times. Allah save us. We are up here. Are we claiming that we are saved and we're going to go to paradise? It's very foolish to make any claim. We are holding on tightly to our Shaykh. He will lead us to safety. The minute we let go, we do it to ourselves. As our Shaykh says so many times, you drive a car for 40 years, same road. One day, you decide to sleep and not drive and let the car to drive itself, it will crash you. This is our ego. And we need to check, we need to see. We should not be tricked. And we need to be in a Jamaat. And we need to observe holy days and nights together to worship. We need to hold on strongly to each other, inshallah Rahman. Then that time the Rahmat comes. It will be a little bit easier. Because if you're alone, it's difficult, yes. Being in Jamaat has its own difficulties too. People, sometimes people, they are crying because they say, we're very far away from you, please, please, please. I said, okay. Same thing with Shaykh Effendi one time. He's saying to me, these ones, they're crying, they want to come here. And Shaykh Effendi says, why you want to come? No, I want to be with you, I want to serve you, I want to do this, I want to do that. Shaykh Effendi says, you come here, then later you're going to get bored too. Then later you're going to leave and you're going to curse at us. If you're coming here to worship, you will hold on to it. If you're coming here for something else, then after a while you will get bored. You're not going to see the point. May Allah keep us strong, inshallah, in this way, dunya and akhirat, and to forgive all our weakness, to forgive all our wrong thinkings and wrong actions in the past few months that has entered. May Allah accept our weak service, inshallah, for the sake of our Shaykh. And may He open the way for us, for Ramadan, to become better, to worship better, to fast better, to become better believers for Allah and His Prophet, and for our Shaykh, for each other. For us to be strong if we are tested, and not bring us to the test, Ya Rabbi. For more protection in every way, physically and spiritually, in every way, for us and for the Jamaat and for the believers. And for us to have the power and the strength to continue this mission of our Shaykh until we die, and to make it better every day, every week, every month, and every year until we die. May Allah give us the power, inshallah, to understand the tricks and the traps of our ego and to defeat it. May Allah not let us to become fools, to be fooled, and to have fools around us. May Allah make us to become more intelligent, inshallah, and more sincere and more simple and more happy with Him. May Allah bring down the tyrants. May Allah open the way for the believers to come together. And may Allah send Sahibu Saif and Sahibu Zaman soon, inshallah. May Allah forgive me and bless you. Al-Fatiha. Amin. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Okay.